Let's get on board Devang Mehta as well, who's now joining in on the show. Devang, yesterday you did see a lot of news come out with respect to FDIs, and that's definitely going to come in as a shot in the arm for a lot of these sectors. It will, of course, increase competition, but attract top dollar, and I think that is what we're closely looking at. Why then does sentiment still on the street continue to remain rather tempered, despite all of the attempts made by the government?
Good morning, Avan. Thanks for having me on the show. I think this is clearly what sentiment can do to market participants and markets. So in fact, there was a sort of a good rally we saw when the finance minister came and acknowledged the slowdown, and probably 2 days of a good recovery was seen. But I think this was again short-lived. The sense here is that market participants don't want to follow a sort of a false rally. I think a clear-cut signal that the Indian markets have sort of recovered from the pessimism would only come when there will be some evidence that the slowdown is probably now arrested. I think a lot of people make out now the festive demand, whether the large ticket consumption comes back, which seems difficult, but at least the small ticket consumption of FMCG consumers, all this should come back. People want to see earnings, a bit of flows, which has still not started from the foreign investors. And I think again, as I said, the bit of sentiment that towards equities there is more or less risk of looking at the trade war rhetoric. So I think that's the sense we get. Probably I was just listening to the conversation that you all were having. I think it's a good time that you go back to the drawing board and prepare a list of good businesses, great businesses, and probably this is the time that you start nibbling into it. So I think the next 3 months would be volatile times, but there is some bit of acknowledgement from the government, and markets will be kept guessing that what would come from the finance minister or the finance ministry rather in the next couple of weeks. So that's where I think a floor or a cushion has been established somewhere around 10,600, 700, from where market could probably come back again roaring.
Devang, wanted to get in your outlook on the telecom space. We've been talking about how it's a three-legged race. The latest being Vodafone has got the nod to raise some 50,000 crores more. Wonder if that's really going to be a game changer, because the numbers really tell the tale, with Reliance Jio emerging as the #1 spot. What do you do within telecom?
I think it's a very simple sort of a trade we can take in telecom. Probably nobody sort of thought about that, how Reliance Jio would come in so strongly and just take the market share from the incumbents, and that has happened with big degree of I can say conviction. So probably if somebody wants to buy a combination of old economy and new economy stock, where I think there was a lot of things which were announced even in the AGM, and I think the market share in the data segment is one which is now most needed for all these companies to operate. Basically, there are only right now, if I can talk about 3 companies which are sort of market leaders in their own right. But I think still going ahead and buying Bharti Airtel or Vodafone, though there are a bit of green shoots coming in, would I think be a little more difficult as market share is more and more getting out of their hand. So my sense is that if somebody wants a larger theme with telecom plus other businesses, a combination of retail and stuff, I think Reliance fits the bill rather than something else.
Come September 27th, and you'll have a new entrant in the Nifty. That's Nestle. Out goes Indiabulls Housing. Remember, Nestle has made a comeback to the index after a long haul of about almost 16 years. It was first included in the index way back in 1996 and then was excluded in 2003. Indiabulls, of course, has been excluded after just 2 years, has had a very short stint, was included only in March 2017. So now you've got the consumption weightage or basket as big as Britannia, Unilever, ITC, Titan, and now Nestle as well makes a comeback in. Devang, for a stock which is already at a life high, Nestle, do you think it could be the curse of the Nifty? Is it anywhere indicating a peak off?
I think no. Clearly, we have been a big fan of the MNC theme. The multinational companies in India, traditionally they are always done in bad cycles or in bad markets rather in India. So probably Nestle getting into the Nifty the consumption universe, which fairly so in India, as an aspirational Indian, probably people would like to consume more and more of such type of products. So my sense is no, probably it's overvalued. The answer is yes, but whether it will keep on commanding that type of a valuation, the answer seems to be yes. So my sense, yes. With the disclaimer that it's been more or less our portfolio stock in a lot of clients, we keep staying positive on this type of business, which commands good ROE, ROC with product profiles that are virtually, I can say, oligopolistic type of products.
Devang, give me a list of, for someone who does not have capital to allocate, what they should sell and buy these fresh. I mean, it's very nice to say that keep your list ready. When stocks go down, start buying them gradually. That's a great way, and I think this will work. But the problem in this market is that after this gut-wrenching fall, I doubt that too much of appetite or too much of cash or too much of money is left with genuine investors. Let's be frank and let's be clear here. I don't think fresh allocation will come through. The option is to churn with what people have right now.
I think you're absolutely right. I think fresh allocation rather than fresh allocation, it's time to revisit the portfolio and probably restructure it. And why I tell this is because every market rally would probably have a new theme or some new leaders who would emerge. So it's absolutely important that people take cognizance of that and don't stay with the losers. So it's hoping against hope that all your stocks which have sort of lost a lot of capital would come back with a bang, which is again, as I said, a myth. So yes, our sense is rather than talking stocks, I would suggest a couple of themes which we have been very, very positive about. A company in the insurance domain, again, I can take some names with the disclaimer that probably consult your advisor before buying that. So insurance, we have been absolutely positive on companies like HDFC Life and ICICI Pru in that order. So HDFC Life again has been a stellar performer over the last few quarters. Of course, saying that we bought at the bottom would be fooling ourselves. We bought it at a decent premium, but then it saw a correction and came back gradually. I think the penetration and density of insurance in this country clearly says that this is one sector probably which will deserve a place in the Nifty as well going forward. So my sense, if somebody wants a compounder, say 20-25%, 20-30% compounder over the next 3-4 years, insurance looks that type of a sector. And even ICICI Lombard, which is into general insurance, these are types of businesses which probably are again non-lending companies, does not face much of a headwind in terms of lending or sort of bad markets or credit environment. So these are the type of companies one should sort of bet on, with a name, again a company like HDFC being 1 lakh crore of market cap and HDFC Bank being 8 lakh crore of market cap. There is a lot of cushion for insurance business to probably get into that sort of a, not at least banking league, but to probably double from here on in the next 3 years.